Hello. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
I don't see Steve even trying to get into the meeting, so
Want to give him a call?
I can give him a buzz. Yeah.
Okay, we are streaming live on YouTube now.
Okay.
I'm going to mute myself for a second.
Hey y'all, I'm not sure if you saw my message in the chat, but you guys are live on YouTube and Amanda has co-hosting ability, so you guys are all set to go. I'm just in a separate meeting right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, just I'm gonna probably have this on in the background, so if there's an issue, if someone can just call me, I probably won't notice it live. So
Okay. Thanks, Sean.
have fun, y'all.
Thanks.
Steve is just having some technical difficulties, but he is trying to get it up and running right now.
Okay. We'll wait. We don't have any choice.
Right. He apologizes, of course.
All done. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, we're all here.
How you doing,
Okay,
Steve?
Sorry about that. I have not had a good morning so far. Well, with that, I guess we can call the organizational meeting for 2021 Marquette City Board of Review to order. And I guess we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
States of
America,
America and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
So it's official, we have a flag.
Mhm.
Roll call. I guess we'll just let the record show that both Mark and I are in attendance. We'll be a little late, but here.
Yep.
And with that, I guess I'll start out with Miles or Amanda. Do you have any particular? I didn't see a printed agenda, so do you have any particular comments you want to start out the meeting with before we do anything else?
Your agenda should be in your black binder.
Well, I have the log.
It's probably in the back, Steve. Sorry.
Listed back there.
Yeah, I apologize. I should have put that in the front.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I'm not seeing one there either.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't know, 10 pages maybe or so from the back.
Oh, here we go. No, that's minutes. Must be getting close.
Just before that, yep.
Yeah, here we go. Okay. Thank you. It was a little deep in there. Okay, so next item on the agenda then is to establish a time limit for individual appeals for the presentation. And on limits for public comment. And we've traditionally used 3 minutes. I don't know if anybody Mark, if you want to suggest just keeping those limits or change that, or
No, it seems like that works.
and that will be for both public comment and for presentations.
Do you think maybe 5 minutes or something for presentations, just in case, somebody has kind of a little bit longer time to state their case?
Sure. As far as I know, a comment from the staff here, do we have any kind of a long list yet of people indicating they want appointments?
I only set up one appointment myself. Christina, what about you?
Still waiting on paperwork, but right now there's only 2 scheduled.
Okay.
And how far apart are you scheduling appointments?
I made mine 15 minutes after the first because Christina made hers at 9 and I didn't know if we would start right at 9. So I made mine, I believe, for 9:15.
Okay, well, we can hopefully with the 15 minutes, we may even have time to decide each case before the next presentation then. So is that going to be a motion from you then, Mark?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to set the for the actual appeal at 5 minutes and public comment at 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. And this is not going well for me at all today because my binder just fell apart.
One of those days.
I haven't dropped all the pages on the floor yet, but I did lose the place in the book. So I'm trying to relocate that. Should be after the final appeals. Okay.
Amanda, do we have anybody in the holding area that wants to have a public comment? Show anybody on the
Nope.
YouTube?
Nobody's there waiting
Okay.
in the meeting.
Okay, I don't see, oh yes, I do, okay. I was looking for approval of minutes, but it's further down. Okay, if there's no one waiting to offer public comment, we will skip over that section then, since no one desires that time. And get to election of chair.
All right. Well,
And I said that we could complicate things and make you the chair since I've got all the records. We had to switch them around, but
yeah, I'll make a motion to to elect you as chairperson.
okay, thank you. I'll second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I'll continue to serve as chair for this year.
Thank you, Steve.
And that will, I guess, leave you to be secretary. And I will, I know we still have been, because of the distance link, we've been appointing staff as secretary.
Yeah. Do you want to elect me, Steve, for the secretary to make that easier and then just
Yeah,
send you guys?
That's fine by
can-
me.
If we can do that, at least while we're still doing Zoom, I'll make a motion to appoint Amanda as the secretary for this meeting.
And I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that motion passes, and you'll be the designated secretary, Amanda. Our minutes from December of 2020. Are there any comments or on those? Any discussion?
Yeah, looking pretty good to me.
Okay, could I have a motion then to approve those as submitted?
Yep, I will make such a motion.
Okay, and I will second the motion to approve the December 2020 minutes as submitted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda that we have?
My only addition, Steve, is that we did put a couple of personal property behind the veterans exemptions. Those ones came in postmarked okay. So their postmark was fine of the date that they needed to be postmarked.
Okay, those are the ones in the back of our binder already then.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else to change the agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion then to approve the agenda.
Okay, I'll second that, to approve the agenda as submitted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. The details on how the March meetings will be conducted. Miles, if you want to start that out.
Sure. What we plan on doing is Amanda's going to monitor all of the participants that are in like a holding room. And when it's their time to protest their assessment on the very first day, she's going to allow them into the meeting in order to for us to be able to hear them and to see them if they're using video cameras. We can also do it by phone if they don't have the capabilities for audio and video by a computer. And what we're going to do is to have a timer for their time limit. So at the end of their, you just set the time limit for the protest for 5 minutes. So at the end of the 5 minutes, we're going to mute their microphone so that we don't have someone going past that time period. And for the second day, which is non-appointments, we're just going to have to go down the list of the people who are going to be allowed in and do their protest. But we need to have a signed and written protest form from each person who is going to protest. So either they need to have the petition filled out themselves, or they need to have the petition and an authorization signature for someone who's going to represent them. So we're not going to allow anyone that has not filled out a petition form themselves. They have a number of options that they can use. They can email us that form. They can take a picture on their cell phone and send it to us. They can drop it off in the drop-off box, which is the utility window box which you typically drop off your utility bills. So any one of those methods they can use for the protest form. But again, we do need to have them complete a protest form. We will not do that for them. They have to do that themselves because there's too many variables. They could be protesting the assessed value, the taxable value, the classification. Plus we need to have a signature and a date. So I don't know if you have any questions on that. I'd be happy to answer those. And then Amanda is going to take care of the technical part of it, and also be aware that all 3 meetings will be broadcast on not only Zoom, but they'll be broadcast on the city network, just like this is. And when we take our breaks, we're just going to ask you to mute and stop your video so that if we take a 10-minute break, that your audio and your video has been paused, and then come back at the designated time after the break and unmute your audio and your video so that you can participate.
And how was this procedure advertised to the public? Do they have to contact the assessor's office first, like is recommended for any protest, or did they learn of it any other way?
There are newspaper ads that were put in the Mining Journal, and it has all of the Zoom links for each individual meeting and the sign-in credentials. We also sent out change of assessment notices to every property owner, and the instructions were on the change of assessment notice. We also have a public service announcement, which is part of the city webpage. And we also have our own assessor's webpage, which has all the instructions for people to be able to participate. So we covered newspaper, websites, and also through the mailing. So everybody should have ample instructions on how they're going to participate if they want to participate in the either as a protest or simply just watching the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Anything further to add, Amanda or Christine? No, okay. At this point, then, Mark, did you have any questions for?
Nope, I think I'm all set, Steve.
Okay, I think we can move right into petition number 1 at this point then. I think I'm just gonna eliminate the binder here and use a stack, a turnover stack, since I can't seem to get the rings to stay together. And our petition number 1 is from John Toman of 703 Champion Street, requesting a residential veterans exemption, lowering both the taxable and assessed values to 0.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
Nope.
A motion or all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved for 703 Champion Street for John Tolman. Petition number 2 from Cheryl Schrader for 110 Blemhuber. Again, a veterans exemption, requesting taxable and assessed values to go to 0.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion has been made and I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved.
I'll let you know when I have put the information in the computer, and then you can go to the next one. Okay.
Okay.
If you don't mind too, I think what I'll do is continue through these and just mark on my page here any vote or whether it approved or not, and then I'll make the entries in the book afterward rather than slide back and forth here to all of the books at this point.
Okay.
So we did approve the veterans exemption, the full veterans exemption for Cheryl Schrader for 110 Blemhuber.
Okay, that one is in the computer.
Alrighty.
Petition number 3 from Lynn M. LaHillier of 226 Jackson Street. Again, a veterans exemption.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved, and I'll second to change the taxable and assessed values to 0 for 226 Jackson Street for Lynn M. LaHillier. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 4 from Patrick Montclair for 427 West Baraga Avenue, requesting taxable and assessed to go to 0 for disabled veterans exemption.
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Taxable and assessed are changed to 0 for 427 West Baraga.
Right, that one is in.
Petition number 5 from Kenneth Kukla of 533 East Arch Street, requesting a veterans exemption, full veterans exemption for that address.
I motion to approve.
And I will second. Any discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Taxable and assessed values on 533 East Arch are lowered to 0.
Okay, that one is done.
Petition number 6, Joseph G. Lampman Jr. for 437 West Spring Street, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Taxable and assessed are lowered to 0 for 437 West Spring Street.
Okay, that one is done.
Petition number 7 is from Patricia Nichols for 1500 Lincoln Avenue, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to 0. Taxable and assessed values on 1500 Lincoln are lowered to 0.
Right, that one's done.
Petition number 8 from Grace Johnson, 1213 Logan Street, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to 0. Taxable and assessed values on 1213 Logan are lowered to 0.
All right, that one's done.
Petition number 9 from Brian T. Parsons for 1203 Waldo Street, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
I'll motion to approve.
And I will second. Any discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to 0. Taxable and assessed values on 1203 Waldo Street are lowered to 0.
Okay, that one is done.
Petition number 10 is from Tassie M. Hazlitt, 1206 Norway Avenue, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Taxable and assessed values on 1206 Norway Avenue are lowered to 0.
All right, that one's done.
Petition number 11 from Kathleen Andel for 808 North 4th Street, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. All in favor of the motion for Kathleen Andel, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values on 808 North 4th Street to 0.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 12 from Mary E. Greeny for 905 North Front Street, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
A motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values to 0 at 905 North Front Street.
That one's done.
Petition number 13 from Douglas R. Miller for 1007 Spruce Street. Again, a request for 100% veterans exemption.
A motion to approve.
I will second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values for 1007 Spruce Street to 0.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 14 from Julie Janor for 120 East Fair Avenue, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
I motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 120 East Fair Avenue to 0.
Right, that one's done.
Petition number 15 from Charles E. Haas for 1615 Longyear Avenue, 100% veterans exemption.
A motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 1615 Longyear Avenue to 0.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 16 from John and Joyce DePietro for 1803 Presque Isle Avenue. Again, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 1803 Presque Isle Avenue to 0.
That one's done.
Petition number 17 from James P. Van Landshut for 3040 Island Beach Road, 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second.
What's the parcel number for that one?
050040.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values 2-0 for 3040 Island Beach Road.
Right, that one's done.
Petition number 18, Guy S. Lasich for 1717 Woodland Avenue, 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower assessed and taxable values to 0 for 1717 Woodland Avenue.
Okay, that's done.
Okay, petition number 19 from Manly Quinn Holbrook of 1106 North McClellan Avenue, requesting 100% veterans exemption. This this apparently is a new one for this year.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower assessed and taxable values to 0 on 1106 North McClellan Avenue.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 20 from John W. I think it's Soar for 1213 Pioneer Road. 100% veterans exemption requested.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values to 0 at 1213 Pioneer Road.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 21 from William A. Conrad for 2016 Neathart Avenue, 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values on 2016 Neathart Avenue to 0.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 22 from Ann Reed for 1624 Woodland Avenue, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values on 1624 Woodland Avenue to 0.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 23 from William and Claudia Mankey for 805 West College Avenue, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values to 0 for 805 West College Avenue.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 24 from Lois Sherbino for 813 West College Avenue, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
I motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Excuse me. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values for 813 West College Avenue to 0.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 25 from William Dollar for 811 West Magnetic Street, 100% veterans exemption request.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values for 811 West Magnetic Street to 0.
All right, that one's done.
Petition number 26 from Michael Paluda for 14 Marquette Drive, 100% veterans exemption requested.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values for number 14 Marquette Drive to 0.
Okay, that one's done.
Petition number 27 from Shirley A. Clark for 1720 Elm Avenue, 100% veterans exemption requested.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower assessed and taxable values at 1720 Elm Avenue to 0.
Okay, that's done.
Petition number 28 from James M. Hine for 1203 Joliet Road, 100% veterans exemption requested.
I motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 1203 Joliet Road to 0.
All right, that one is done.
Petition number 29 from Helen Allen for 1805 Mildred Avenue, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second the motion. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values for 1805 Mildred Avenue to 0.
All right, that one is done.
Petition number 30 from Scott Slattery for 506 Hillside Drive, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values for 506 Hillside Drive to 0.
Right, that is done.
Petition number 31 is from Robert Finkbeiner for 1613 Altamont Street, 100% veterans exemption requested.
I motion to approve.
I will second the motion. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 1613 Altamont Street to 0.
All right, that is done.
Petition number 32 is from Alan Johnson for 1608 West Fair, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
Seconded. Any discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0, excuse me, to lower taxable and assessed values at 1608 West Fair Avenue to 0.
All right, that is done.
Petition number 33 from Ronald Gobert Sr. of 12 Grove Hill Court. 100% veterans exemption requested.
Motion to approve.
I will second that motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 12 Grove Hill Court to 0.
All right, that is done.
Petition number 34 from David Richard for 1606 Bayview Drive. 100% veterans exemption requested.
I motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. The lower taxable and assessed values at 1606 Bayview Drive to 0.
All right, that is done.
Petition number 35 from Rodney and Diane Lynn for 1729 Altamont Street, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 1729 Altamont Street to 0.
Okay, that is done.
Petition number 36 from George LeBlanc III for 1075 Vistana Drive, 100% veterans exemption requested.
Make a motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 1075 Vistana Drive to 0.
Okay, that is done.
Petition number 37 from Alfred Hendra for 2806 Granite Point Drive, 100% veterans exemption requested.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 2806 Granite Point Drive to 0.
All right, that one is done.
Petition number 38 from Paul Callanan for 611 Brookstone Court. 100% veterans exemption requested.
Make a motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 611 Brookstone Court to 0.
Okay, that one is done.
Petition number 39 from George LeBlanc Jr. for 608 South Lakeshore Boulevard. 100% veterans exemption requested.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 608 South Lakeshore Boulevard to 0.
Okay, that is done.
Petition number 40 from Scott and Lisa Edelmacki for 1910 North Creek Drive, 100% veterans exemption requested.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Petition for Scott and Lisa Edelmacki is approved, lowering taxable and assessed values at 1910 North Creek Drive to 0.
Right, that is done.
Petition number 41 is from Paul and I think it's Wani Mason for 1215 Cleveland Avenue, 100% veterans exemption requested.
Make a motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 1215 Cleveland Avenue to 0.
Okay, that is done.
Petition number 42 is from Donald Stiles for 2008 Huntington Drive. 100% veterans exemption requested.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 2008 Huntington to 0.
that is done.
Petition number 43 from Timothy and Terry Kusher Trust for 425 East Prospect Street. 100% veterans exemption requested.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 425 East Prospect Street to 0.
Okay, that one is done.
Petition number 44 is from Thomas Beard for 422 Center Street. I know he's a disabled veteran, but it doesn't say veteran down in the reason thing here, so I'm going to presume that that's the reason he's requesting.
Correct.
Make a motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 422 Center Street to 0.
One is done.
Petition number 45 from Leona Holm for 411 Wright Street, requesting 100% veterans exemption.
A motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Taxable and assessed values at 411 Wright Street are lowered to 0 by approval of the motion 2-0.
It's done.
Petition number 46 from Jacqueline Andreessen for 1609 West Avenue. Veterans exemption, 100% requested.
Motion to approve.
I will second. So moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to lower taxable and assessed values at 1609 West Avenue to 0.
Aye.
Okay, that's done.
Petition number 47 from Centralock LLC. And this is for approval of a late personal property statement.
So Steve, if you go to the supporting documentation, you'll see that the value needs to go from 59,000 to 51,490.
What's the number that it needs to go to?
51,490.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second the motion. But for discussion, why is it shown in here as, okay, the 59,000 that you have on the form is what you presumed it was because they hadn't filed the statement?
Correct.
Okay,
And then that 51,490 is after the statement was entered for what they are claiming.
the motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of reducing the assessed and taxable value for personal property at 326 North Front Street, line to Central Lock to $51,490. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion is approved.
These will take just a minute longer because I need to print another form.
Okay.
So Miles, on all of the veterans exemptions, I did have Christina print the 4035A form. But on these ones, you're gonna print something separate?
Print the 4035As and email them to you.
Okay,
But you'll still need to do the regular forms, 4035s.
the petition form.
Yeah, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
After the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, that one has been entered.
Okay. Next on the list is petition number 48 for Amazon.com Services LLC with an address of 1542 West Ridge Street. Personal property number 9672053. And that was a late filed personal property statement showing taxable value should be, and assessed value should be 0. Motion.
So that one is already 0 and they file the form and now it's going to be 0.
And it's a new account that we didn't have before.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second. I take it they just, they don't have the 80,000. Well, this is 80,000 minimum
Right.
required tax payments. Moved and seconded to approve values of 0 and accept the late filing from Amazon.com Services LLC of 1542 West Ridge. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0.
Okay, that one is in.
Application number 49 is from Sprint, doing business as T-Mobile. The property address of just Blaker Street, and this is for personal property account 9672054. Again, a late filing of new account.
Okay, I make a motion to approve.
And I will second. Again, they're saying that they don't have enough to reach the $80,000 value. Is this on the church property?
Yep, it's that small street right by the church.
Yeah, but
Mhm. And they're saying it's in that vicinity of the 101 to 299 Blaker Street.
movements. I'm sorry, Mark, did you already move on this one? I didn't note it.
I believe I did.
Yeah, I think we had a motion and second before I started discussing it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
By a vote of 2-0, the assessed and taxable value for personal property is set at 0 for account 9672054.
Okay, that one is done.
Petition number 50. I take it that's just a series of letters in our PTD, Michigan.
NPRTO.
NRPTO.
I have NRPTO.
So the
Michigan.
record, let's see here.
For personal property account 9672055. Motion to accept a late filing and a value, taxable value and assessed value of 0.
And it should be NPRTO.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the petition.
Okay, I will second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0 to approve the late filing and values, taxable and assessed values of 0 for personal property account 9672055.
Okay, that one is done.
And that, I believe, is all the petitions we have at this point.
Like it.
Yes. Mhm. You will find one in your book that has an appointment at 9:15.
At 9:15. Okay.
On 3/8.
Yeah, I guess we can take a look at it. See. So this is a vacant lot. 713 Grove Street.
Yes.
Yeah, that one will be for next week, Steve.
Yeah, just thought I'd ask a couple questions about it.
Sure.
For instance, it would be nice to know the dimensions of the lot. And I don't know if we need the last of the emails there, but mine is cut off right after Mr. Glenn Van Esten.
Yep, you didn't need that.
Okay. Other than that, then, is there any other questions on that one to prepare for next week? If not, guess we will turn it over to staff to report on the role and any reports.
Okay. One of the things I wanted to touch base with you with is any poverty exemptions. So we are probably going to get some poverty exemption requests. And Amanda is going to be controlling, what goes in and on the screens. And she's going to be sharing her screen during the meetings so that just like in the past, you can see the parcel, and we'll show you pictures, the pictures of the property, the front, the back. And so it would be just like if you were in the council chambers, those 3 big screens that we have, you'll be able to see the actual parcel up on your live feed. Amanda, you want to just give that a shot right now, just to.
Sure.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see the parcel that we're working on, that is filing the appeal.
Oh, there we go.
And then she'll also go to the photos just like before, in the miscellaneous there, and labels. Yeah, and then we can click on it. So if you have any particular questions on the parcel, it'll be just like we were live in the council chambers. Okay, so we can call up anything that you want to see on the parcel, the assessed values from last year. So you'll have all of that. We'll make sure that you have a blank petition forms for the Tuesday meeting, in case you need those. So you can, and then we'll give you all the information from the petition as far as the assessed values, taxable values, what they're protesting, so that you can write that down on your forms. And then you'll just let us know when you're ready to proceed, with the person. So what we plan to do is to get you prepared first, have all the stuff up, and then we'll bring the person into the meeting, and then we'll let them discuss why they believe whatever they're protesting isn't accurate for the city. And then after their 5 minutes are up, we'll stop that, and then you can either discuss it at that particular time, or we'll move on. With the poverty exemption ones, we are not going to put their personal information up on the screen. We'll give you a copy of that. We'll send it to you in an email so that you can look up the information that they've submitted as far as support, but that is not going to be broadcast over Zoom or over the internet on YouTube. Obviously, all of your discussions will be, so you want to be cognizant of, how you discuss that.
Okay.
And not divulge any personal social security numbers and things like that. But other than that, I think that's the only caveat as far as those poverty exemptions. Do you have any questions on those?
None
Are
here.
you- I'm sorry, go ahead.
None from me.
Okay. Are you expecting petitions from both of the property owners that we have dealt with in the past on poverty exemptions?
I know we're going to have one of them. I did receive a phone call yesterday. They were looking to inquire as to how they could deliver their package of information. So I do know that one of them, if they haven't already, they will be dropping off that poverty exemption application.
That would be the one on East Hewitt.
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so. Okay, if you don't have any other questions, I just want to go over a few of the reports with you, let you know how we got to where we are this year. And if you have any questions as I'm going along, just feel free to ask. So
I'm sorry, Miles, I do have one more question on the poverty exemptions. When we act on them, we are just approving the 2021 exemption, correct? But the city commission can extend that approval for multiple years?
You're right. You're only acting on the current year for the poverty exemption. And if under the new law, they would implement those new requirements and new procedures, then it could be extended. But the board review is only acting on the current 2021 year.
That requires no action on our part, though. It's on the city commission's part to change the rules, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead on the other reports. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. I just want to let you know where we're at with a few of the things. As you probably know, the Wisconsin Electric Power Plant is being demolished. So the values there on that particular parcel this year were reduced from $10 million down to $2 million. And then we'll take a look this year, once the building has been totally demolished and they do some of the remediation work for values for the subsequent year. So that was my determination of the value from 10 million to 2 million. And then we'll look at it again for the subsequent year, next year.
Is there still a large parcel of that land that appears to be power plant property where the cold storage was that actually is owned by the railroad or some other entity and is not part of the assets of the power plant?
I think it's Lake Superior Coal. You know, if we call up that, Amanda, if you want to call up that particular parcel and then show the.
Do you know the address?
I can get the parcel number here.
I guess I'm just wondering because I think the public presumes that everything out there is part of the power plant, other than maybe the coal unloader. And from information I had from a long time ago, I realized that a substantial chunk of the property I thought belonged to a different entity and may continue to be used as coal storage. I'm not sure. And maybe it's actually owned by the railroad, and in that case, it's not taxed as real property anyway, is it?
Any railroad property is assessed by the state. So the parcel number is 0510130. And then if we can pull up the GIS, then that should show the boundaries of the parcel.
I'm going to share a different screen now. Just so you- So it's this piece right here, if you can see that.
Mm.
I don't think we can see it yet.
You
Yes.
can't see it?
Nope.
Okay, wait.
There we go.
Now, can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so it's just on the lake side of the road?
Nope. So I guess you have to look here at this parcel number, and then it's over here too. Let me zoom out, but you're not going to be able to see the parcel numbers.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just trying to determine, there's going to be some substantial value belonging to another business out there that I don't know if it's still going to be operating or not. I presume, since it has been used in the past to service the mines, that it may continue to be used for that purpose. Although I think at this point, from what I can see out there, all the coal has been removed. And that's why I was wondering if the part right in directly in front of the plant was plant property, but the other entity owned area north of the plant.
So you can-
If you look at the parcel numbers, if you want to zoom in a little bit, Amanda, there, if you can see that the parcel to the north is owned by somebody else.
So there's this piece right here, and then this piece.
Yeah, I think the stuff on the lake side of the road is part of the actual power plant property. It may have a different parcel number and be valued differently as not as industrial. I don't know, but It was a separate operating entity, to the best of my knowledge, that owned property between the power plant and the Ord Dock trestle.
'Cause
Yeah, they
this-
just sold off some property as one of the splits for 2021, just north of, the map hasn't been updated yet because we haven't provided that exchange of property to the engineering department yet, but we will shortly. And then they can update their GIS maps. We give them all of our maps all at one time.
Okay. So yeah, I guess just helps to know that there's even if the building comes down, that there's still plenty of tax producing entity out there.
Right. Yep.
And it's not going to necessarily lend itself to being changed from industrial to anything else, as long as there's industrial property that's operating on the site.
Yeah, and there has to be remediation done, and obviously you've got some high tension power lines that are just west of the plant as well. So you've got a number of things coming to influence the value of the parcel.
Has that substation behind the plant been totally isolated and abandoned now too? Or?
I don't know.
The other point I had out there, I guess, was just personal property. I asked Amanda the other day about the company that's doing the demolishing. The name is escaping me right now, but Birkin something or other.
right. And they were a new account for this year.
But I think you said they showed a personal property value of $500,000 or something on site. Now I realize that was for December 31st, but drive by out there now, they've got at least 5 of the large excavators that sell for about $500,000 a piece. Loader, man lifts, I presume office and trailers and the like. It seems like they've got a lot more now than maybe what they showed on December 31st.
They claimed $1,745,000 worth of equipment for December 31st.
Okay. Well, I realize it's not all brand new, but there's a lot of dollars tied up in iron out there right now. Another question I had, and maybe you're going to touch on it in your reports, maybe not, I don't know, but with the state mandating the closure of so many businesses, bars and restaurants and such, and then still requiring them to pay property tax on assets that they can't use for their business, is there something in the pike coming down from the state tax commission, from the legislature, anywhere that is going to give a big break to them on assets that basically the state took from them?
Yeah, that's that's the politics part of it. We don't get involved with that at all. I haven't heard anything at all as far as relief, if you want to choose that word, on the personal property side. You look at the Small Business Administration and the 1.2 trillion, 1.4 trillion that the federal government is giving to businesses. So that's something way beyond our scope. But if there is anything, I'm sure we'll be the first to hear about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to cover numbers, basically, and statistics quickly for you. I'll cover the commercial class first. The county did a 2-year sales study and a 1-year sales study. We went with the 2-year sales study, showed that the assessed values were slightly over where they should have been. So our ratio came out at 51.73. So we have to be between 49 and 50 at the end of the board review. So we went through and we looked at all of the personal property, or excuse me, all of the commercial property in the city, and we broke them up by their various classes, and we changed the values to lower them for the 2021 assessment roll. So we had about 9.5, I'll say 9 million, I'll round it off to $9 million reduction in values citywide in order to meet that sales study, that 2-year sales study. So the values went down citywide by about $9 million on the assessed side. I'm not talking about the taxable side, I'm talking about the assessed side. And then as far as the industrial class, the county ended up doing a study on 4 or 5 parcels. They did an appraisal study. Obviously, we asked them to break up the power plant and all the remaining parcels. And so it showed that we were slightly over at 50.59 ratio. We need to be below that 50 ratio. So I lowered the industrial remaining parcels slightly in order to bring us below that 50% mark for the going into the board review as well. And then on the residential side, we had 523 sales between 4/1 of 18 and 3 of 20. So in that time period, we had 523 sales in the city, and the ratio came out at 48.09. So we had to increase the residential class in order to meet that between 49 and 50%. So we went through neighborhood by neighborhood, and we looked at the sales study based upon a neighborhood by neighborhood analysis, and then changed the values based upon what is occurring in each neighborhood throughout the city. So you didn't get any uniform changes. You got whatever was happening in that particular neighborhood. So we increased the assessed values about $16.7 million citywide in order to meet the requirements of the between 49 and 50% mandate that we have. You have any questions on the sales studies before I tell you what we ended up with?
Just how does that county factor on residential impact the individual property owner? Is that directly applied at all to an individual's values, or do you just take that into consideration and reevaluate before you finalize the roll?
Yeah, what we do is we have the city broken up into neighborhoods, and each neighborhood is looked at individually. So, like, just to have a really easy example, let's just say we have 10 neighborhoods, and we look at all the sales that were involved with that sales study over that 2-year time period.
Okay.
And we then look at how those sales were occurring over that 2-year time period. So you might have one neighborhood that went up by 1%, you may have another neighborhood that went up by 25%. So everybody that's in that particular neighborhood is going to be affected by all of the sales that have occurred over that 2-year time period within their neighborhood.
But the actual county factor itself doesn't apply to individual properties anywhere. You just use their study to evaluate each neighborhood over again, correct?
Yeah, I don't. So the ratio came up at 4803. So if you just applied a blanket change of assessment, you'd have roughly, say, a 4% increase across the whole entire city. And that's not an accurate way to do it, because your properties, let's say on the lake shore, are selling for different amounts than, say, the parcels on next to the college, or up towards the power plant, or so they all the different neighborhoods that we have, they all have different nuances and factors that affect their value. And so we break the city up into all those various neighborhoods, and we look at them and we say, okay, well, based upon the sales study, what's happening in each individual neighborhood, and then we run what we call economic condition factors for each neighborhood, and we look at all the sales, and we can see which neighborhoods are changing by whatever percentages. And so when we then put all that information together, we then have to come up with the total dollar amount that we need in order to raise us up above the 49% threshold.
I guess what I'm looking at is a good way to simply explain it to petitioners that might show up in front of us next week, particularly if they read the Mining Journal article saying that there's a factor of, I think it was about 3% applied to residential property in the city.
Yeah, that's not going to apply uniformly across every single parcel in the city, because the economic, I guess the best way to answer your question is how to explain it to people who come in is to say, we look at each individual neighborhood, we look at all the sales that are occurring there in your neighborhood, and your values were changed for your assessed values, not your taxable value, but your assessed values were changed based upon the sales that have occurred over a 2-year time period in your neighborhood. Now, the question might come up, how does the assessor determine the neighborhoods? There are dividing lines that break things apart, and we've got a pretty good handle on what factors influence who wants to be by schools, who wants to be by the water, who wants to be closer to the businesses, the bike path. So I think our neighborhood delineations are good, and we look at the sales that have occurred there. So you can't say that there was a uniform application of that 3% across the board, because there wasn't.
No, but the state factor from the tax commission, that one is applied across the board.
It's
as a limiting factor, correct?
Correct. As a total for the city, we have to increase the value from that 4803%. We have to end up above that 49% in order to meet the requirements.
I meant the 1.04 that's on the change of assessment notice.
Well, are you talking about the taxable value on the change of assessment notice?
Yes, I guess the one that the state hands out the factor across the board to everybody that takes place this year instead of the 5% of proposal A.
Okay, so the The taxable value is totally different than the sales study. So they're two totally different things. The sales study only looks at the assessed values and the market value of the property. And it tells us whether or not we are over assessing property or under assessing property. So on the ratios that I just gave you, I was only talking about the assessed values. As far as the consumer price index, the rate of inflation for taxable value, that is a calculation that is done by the State Tax Commission. And your taxable value can only go up by the rate of inflation or 5%, whichever is less, unless you've had some new construction or some demolition on the property. And then you have a cap value. So if the gap between your taxable value and your assessed value is less than that rate of inflation, then the maximum amount that you're going to go up is that to make up the difference between the taxable and the assessed. But most places have a large gap there. So they, in the residential factor or the residential class, you may have had, say, a 5% increase in the assessed value, which you don't pay your taxes on, but the only increase in your taxable value is going to be that rate of inflation.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. And I have one more question, I guess. You mentioned industrial and commercial assessed values went down while you had to raise the city's overall residential value. Were there any neighborhoods of residential values that actually declined?
I don't know. We can look at that. We can get an answer for you before the end of before the 8th. We'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mark, any questions?
I don't think so, Steve.
Okay. All right. The other information, I just want to give you a quick what happened, I guess, kind of broad brush view. We have 3 roles. We have an ad valorem role for real property and an ad valorem role for personal property. And then we have what we call special acts. So we have DNR in the special acts. We have the DNR parcels. We have the DLP hospital site where the new hospital is. And we have industrial facilities taxes. What happened there as far as the assessed values, last year we were at 96,090,195. And this year we're at 93,925,400 on the assessed side of that. So we went down just slightly for that on the assessed side of the special acts role. For the taxable value, we have $93,860,258 in value on our special assessment, the special acts role.
Does that have, or does it pose any problems at all with meeting any of the bonds associated with those paybacks?
Are you speaking specifically of DLP?
Well, I presume they're the main one in there, but there may be others as well. I'm not sure of all the properties that are included in that role, but I think the city has sold bonds in other cases to facilitate improvements and then relied on the values to pay them back.
Yeah, I don't see any impact because you have all the other factors that have to be taken into consideration, you have your brownfield monies that are distributed in all the various brownfields that are throughout the city. You have, your other acts that people knew when they were going into it that those monies are going to be distributed to them for whatever period of time that those brownfields are into effect. And then you have the LDFAs. But with the small change in value, I don't see any impacts.
Okay, thank you.
On the personal property side, the last year we had 65,255,406. I'm sorry, that's the current value for both the assessed value and the taxable value. And last year we had 66,359,668. So we went down slightly. We had about $34 million in losses, and we had about $33 million in new. So very, very close. Like I said, 66,359,668 in personal last year, $65,255,406 this year on personal property side. And last but not least, we have the real property roll. Last year on the assessed side, we were at 820 million. And this year we're ending up at 834 million. So we had about 10.4 million in loss, almost 10 million in plus adjustments. And we had about 14.8 million in new construction overall in the real property. So you're seeing not only values increase from the uncappings of the assessments, but you're also seeing about 14.8 million in assessed value increases in new construction. And then obviously you had some decreases because of the demolition of the power plant as well. So there is some growth there. The taxable value this year on the real property roll is $669,461,405. So those are all of the statistics as far as where we're at, as far as values and how we got to them. I don't know if you have any questions on any of that, but that's all I have as far as reports for you on values. We're working on all of the tax appeals. Some of them we're settling, and the rest of them we're preparing appraisals for and getting ready for the tax tribunal.
How many cases do you have before the tribunal?
We have 3 hotels. We have a office building, and we have another office building downtown. Those are the ones that I can quickly think of off the top of my head.
Are they hotels using the dark store philosophy, or is this related to something else?
Well, you never know what could come up, but as of now, I haven't not heard that being presented as part of the defense.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from anybody here?
No questions here, Steve.
Then I guess we are up to the next public comment session on the meeting. Anybody waiting out there yet?
Oh, nobody's waiting.
Well, that being the case, I guess we are ready for a motion to adjourn.
If nobody has anything else, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that, and once more apologize for not getting in on time with the hardware problems I was having here. But I will, the motion passes. I guess we have to vote on it. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn is passed, and we will see you again next week, Monday.
See you
Yep.
Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys
Bye.
Monday.
Bye.
Bye.